All right, so I'm Vance Jochim, your fiscal watchdog blogger at fiscalrangers.com here in Lake County, Florida. And today I'm going to briefly cover the process for finding out the Florida governor appointments that are in Florida and or in the county. It's a really complex, convoluted process. I don't think it's transparent. And I'm going to do more research and a longer video to show this, but this is just an overview of the quagmire that you have to go through. First of all, the governor appoints people to many different special districts. By golly, I wonder if he appoints people to, there's like 1,500 special districts. I don't think he appoints all of them, but if there's a vacancy, I do know that and there's not enough time to have an election, there are processes where he does appoint replacements. Like here in Lake County, we have the hospital district, and those appointments are approved by the governor, and Governor Scott. Sometimes it takes months to approve an appointment. We also have the St. Johns River Water Management District, which covers Lake County as well as something like 15 or 17 other counties. And we right now, this county, Lake County, does not have anybody on that board. We have not had anybody in 24 years. And that's part of the reason why I'm looking into this process, is that we need to have some Lake County people step up. But I'm looking right now at the process of how do you find out who's... I'm adjusting the camera here. There we go, a little bit wider. I'm in the bat cave. And so how do we find out that there's a vacancy on one of these committees, or even do we find out that there is any committee that should have a vacancy appointments? For instance, we have the Lake Sumter State College here. That governing board that they have, the trustees, has 4 people that are appointed from Lake County and 4 people appointed from Sumter County, and they're appointed by the governor. And since the newspapers don't cover them at all, how the hell does anybody know that there's even a vacancy or how to go about applying? So this is all buried, and it's not transparent. It's not easy to find out, and I'm going to show you. People maybe could say, as I was just told recently when talking to someone in the appointments office of the governor, that, well, this process existed under Governor Scott. Well, it probably is left over from when we had Democrats running this, because it's so convoluted. And just because this is the way we always did it, I don't think it should continue that way. So let me show you the quagmire that you have to go through. First of all, there is no list that you can go to on the governor's website, on the appointments website, or anywhere else that shows you all the different appointed positions that the governor appoints, and then the incumbents and the vacancies. Now, the federal government, the White House, the U.S. president has an appointments database also, and you can go there and you can see those, and you can actually get a description of what it entails. And I believe, I haven't looked at it in a while, but here there's nothing that shows what the position does, what the requirements are, whether there's any pay involved, whether they get expenses reimbursed. There's nothing to show, say, a well-meaning citizen who wants to help, what is entailed. So it's insider information. In my view, this is all insider stuff. And that, existing people on, say, St. Johns River Water Management District, the attorneys that deal with water issues, and the environmental company organizations, and maybe the big agriculture, they all know, and they have people that they pay to monitor these things, and then they make sure some favored candidate gets pushed forward when nobody else even knows there's an opening. So let's start with the fact that we don't know what positions are open. We don't have any formal place that we can go to find out what agencies in Lake County or even in the state have incumbents or have vacancies, or what the job requirements are for that, what they're supposed to do. So let's see what the existing process is. And here we go. All right. What I have done is I have loaded up my computer with the web pages that are involved. I'm going to show you first of all a little diagram that I wrote. And this is the Florida governor appointments. There is an appointments office. First of all, there's the main appointments page. I'll show you that in a minute. Then there's a FAQ page. Then there's a link that you can go to see financial forms for positions that require financial filings, information on your financial information. Then there's an application page. It's 8 pages. It's 8 application questionnaire. And it is 8 pages long, and you download it in a PDF format, fill it out, and then you have it ready to upload. And then you upload it to that page, an online submission application form that's online. You fill out a whole bunch more stuff, and then you can look at recent appointments that are made. Those are press releases. I'll show you that. And then you have the Constitutional Commission appointments. The only place where I could find, other than press releases, there is a link on the main page that says Constitutional Commission appointments or applications. I shouldn't say appointments. That was just the applications. There's, I don't know, maybe 100 or more. So I'll show you that because that's the only place where you can see people that have applied for something, but it's only just for the Constitutional Commission. And this was back in 2016. And then finally, we'll look at an example of a filled out form. I just picked one of the people who applied for the Constitutional Commission appointment, and we'll see that and how it's redacted, because a lot of these are already public officials, and so they can invoke a law and they hide their personal address. But it's funny, I found a couple of well-known former folks in government who they applied after they apparently retired, so their home address and everything else is right there, email and so forth. So we're going to go back here and we're going to start with this process, the main page, which is where everything else here is linked. And so that's the appointments page. And I'm going to go to it right now. And here it is. And if you see, it's in Governor Ron DeSantis. These tabs along here, but none of them say appointments. So if you do a Google search and you just say Florida Governor appointments, you'll get this page. But you can also just go to that address, flgov.com appointments. And you go to this main page here for the appointments office. Right? And it's got the contact information and email for them. I talked to them recently about the lack of transparency over positions, and their approach was, well, and I'll show you, there is a way, a convoluted, untransparent way to find out what the openings are. They don't start right out, and it should be here. It should say, here are all the appointments that the governor makes, and the ones that are coming, and the ones that are vacant, and then a click where you can go apply. They don't have that. All right, so let's see. Let me clear the bottom here of the screen. I'm going to clear that. I'm going to also clear the top of the screen. So now we're just, oh no, I'm going to have to go back. Okay, this is, since you've paid nothing for this, you're not getting professional video production here. All right, so we've got the appointments page. It says recent appointments. You can look at that. Those are press releases. We'll look at that in a minute. It has the email, and then they have step-by-step instructions. So it's a little confusing because you get, first of all, you can go to this form and get the appointments questionnaire, and it's several pages long, and you can waste a lot of time filling that out. And still, they don't tell you where to find what the vacancies are. It's like you're supposed to just know. You know, and here in Lake County, for instance, we have 2 newspapers. They don't cover this stuff anymore. And so how is anybody supposed to know? So this is not transparent in my view and needs to be revamped totally. But I'll show you the convoluted process. So you have the appointments questionnaire there, and then once you fill it out, they say take it and upload it to the board seat application. Okay, so that's the online application form. You upload your completed PDF questionnaire and attach it to that document online, and then when you finally fill it all out, then you can click submit. Okay, my recommendation is both of these. This is a PDF you can download, print it out so you look at it, and then also I would go on and see if you can print out this board seat application form, although it's online, because it's several pages long too. But I would not do any of this until I show you the process for finding out at least what the open positions are. Now, they have no email that you could sign up for that says, please tell me what the open positions are starting this week or this month. They have nothing like that. That's not here. Okay. They do have an appointments list there. Now, I haven't tried. Maybe they do have an email notification list, but it's not on this page, and there should be one. It should just say clearly, please enter your email here if you want to be notified of all upcoming vacant appointments, and with a link that goes to it. Okay, but it's not there. Okay, so and then down here is how to find out more information. Click here to find out more information regarding which appointments require a financial disclosure. Okay, I'll show you that in a minute, but it's obtuse. It isn't very clear. And then you can find helpful hints and fact there, and I would look at that first probably. And if you need assistance, let's see, that's the email. Okay, but now down here at the bottom, if you want to see the current constitutional revision commission applicants, and that commission's already finished with their meetings, it says click applications. Well, that's kind of confusing, but it takes you to a page that basically lists all of the PDF applications that were filed for just this commission. It's not all filings. And they got a mailing address too in Tallahassee. So let's go, and I'm not going to change this one. What I'll do is just go to the first page in the order I recommend. Let's go to the appointments FAQ, and it's right there. All of these separate pages I'm showing you are from a link on that main page, and it tells you the steps for filling out these things. You might want to print it or look at it. Okay, so then the next link is forms. These are the forms. Now, that link that they had was the forms that are require financial disclosure. But so what happens here? You have, it just lists a bunch of forms and with their names, and they don't say. Some of them have rules, so it's not clear. My view is I wouldn't spend time on this unless you find that somewhere it says you have to file a specific form in the application form. And that may pop up if you pick a specific position that ends up requiring one of these forms. I don't know. They don't say. It just says use Internet Explorer. But here there's no explanation that's related towards the appointments area at all. It just says current forms and filing information. Okay, so now another link that I go to is this is the appointments questionnaire. This is the first one. If you knew what you were going to apply for, this is what you click on that one link on that main page, it'll pull up the appointments questionnaire. And it's, well, 8 pages long, but the first one is the page that says you must download this and fill it out on your computer. You do not do it online and then save it. That's probably a good way to do that. So I guess these are PDF forms that can be filled in online, and then you save it as a PDF that's completed, and then you upload it in the next step of the process. So you're going to fill all that out, and it asks a lot of stuff. So if you're interested, I would look at that to see whether you want to even apply after looking at that, because all the things they ask. Okay, now they have the online submit application, and that link is on that main page. And you get this, and it says application form. That's where you upload that completed application form that I just showed you. And then they ask you to complete information here, demographic and personal. So they're having you repeat information that's in the PDF file. I don't know why they didn't integrate this. You would think it'd be integrated, but alright, and they want your driver's license and everything. Basically, they're going to do a full background check on you, which is fair. I mean, you know, if the governor is appointing somebody, they don't want to have a felon turn out to be on, say, the banking committee or something like that. And let's see. So now, here is the place, not described anywhere. The only place, I confirmed this with the guy on the phone from the, is that, and you have to know this, is that you go down here, first of all, you have to go to the top of this form, you have to check right there, and I already checked it, because if it's unchecked, you cannot see the list I'm going to show you. So, and it doesn't say, you got to check this first, or you can't see the names of the boards that you're applying for. I mean, I just, you know, this was developed in the 1970s, apparently, when they had just paper. I don't know. So anyway, if we go down here, it says select board seats to apply for. Well, actually, as far as I know, you can only select one. Oh, and it does say if you don't select a board seat, your data will not be saved. So you can fill out this whole form, and as far as I know, there's nothing where it says you can save this data. You know, in other words, fill it out later once you see it's too much information and maybe you want to find out. All right, so remember we checked off that form at the top, that one little checkbox, because they didn't warn you, they don't tell you. I had to ask, get a phone call, talk to somebody, and to see just the openings, you click here, it says functional category. Use it to filter the boards below. In other words, each functional category. In this case, I had environmental, I checked, but I'm going to pull this up. These are, and it doesn't say in English that this list is based upon what is open. So if there's a functional category that has no openings in whatever boards that are under them, it won't show up at all. So you can look at this, and then next, you have to know then your particular board that you're interested in, which category. This also means that if you wanted to see all the available openings, there's nothing that lets you see the available openings related to a specific county. Okay, so let's see, I'm looking at this, so let's look at the list here. Select one. Children's Services, DBPR, that's professional services and licenses like the barbers and so forth. Disability boards, economic development, education, elected official. That probably is if somebody dies in office and or resigns, then he appoints somebody to fill that position until the next election. Environmental, historical and arts, judicial, legal, maybe for judges, juvenile justice, law enforcement, there might be a sheriff vacancy, something like that. Who knows? We don't have any kind of, there's no explanation. You'd think that they would have something that they would try and encourage people to sign up. I mean, if you go to the Lake County Board website, and they have committees, and they're always looking for people to fill them. They actually have text that explains what that committee is, and I think they have some information on what their responsibilities are. Okay, so local development, medical health, not set. That might be interesting. So you can't get one master list that maybe shows these headings with subheadings under them for each of the available boards under those. You have to pick this. So it means that if you wanted to see something and you wondered if there's anything available here in Lake County, you'd have to click every one of these to see if there was something that applied to Lake County. This is 1940 mainframe architecture. It's not user friendly. I'm just saying flat out, you people should need to redesign this entirely to make it more user friendly and to provide all the information in one place. In my view, there ought to be a master list that you go to. Each one of these categories for all available categories, functional categories, should be listed, and they have a little arrow on the side. You click on it and that opens up and it shows you all the boards or agencies under that group, and that you could sort by either one. You could sort, and you could put in, for instance, like I want water. Water management districts. I could put in just the term water and I should be able to pull up everything that has water district in it, or water. But they're not making it easy. You really got to work to find what's available. This is not transparent. It is not conducive to getting good quality applicants, because anybody that has time is of value to them, they're not going to sit and click through all these. Now maybe the Democrats, because they're on welfare, they might go through this. Let's see. So let's go down here, and I already know environmental. I'm going to click it, and so now I have to go to the next one that says board name, and I'm going to have to click, and it pops up the list up here. Again, according to what I've been told, this is only show you then the open positions. See, look at all these. These are a lot of open positions. Now, Governor Ron DeSantis just recently, he did terminate or not renew people on a number of the water district boards. So there's several of them here. It says governing board. You know, I'm looking for water. I couldn't find it anywhere, and it's because it starts out governing board and then it goes into it. So like, here we go. We got the governing board, St. John's River Water Management District. Okay. So now let's see what happens if I click that, because there are different districts. And, okay, I did get a pop-up. So this shows, so look, they got several openings. Look at that. Now, this is what I'm getting at, is why can't I, like I said, just look at one master list in outline mode. I open up one level of categories. I get to the boards, or I search on just water and St. John's River Water Management District, just that term, and all these should pop up. But no, they don't do that. You know, this databases have existed. I was in Vietnam in 1968. I was using a database then that tracked all of the intelligence information for every day for every different region. And we printed out information on it. And then when I came back to the U.S., I was printing out on mainframe systems, database systems. And then I was using a system on an Apple II computer that was a database that you could do search and query. And here they do not provide that capability. So these guys are really at least 20 years behind times here. This is absurd. So okay, so here at this point, apparently now I can select seats to add. So this is important because, so the St. John's River Water Management District has 4 large positions. So I'm right. He did let these people go. So you could apply there for the at-large positions, and then they have different districts. So like here it says District 6, 8, and it describes them. But it doesn't describe what counties those are. And so you'd have to go back to the St. Johns River Water Management District, look at a map, and see if that applies to you. So this is not that helpful. You have to four-member at large. Okay, this is confusing. I'm thinking maybe that these are the sub-district within the St. Johns River Water Management District, those numbers, and that each of these entries is for really one position, but they use a description that says like 4 members at large, but this is maybe number 4 out of those 4, because they only have 2 at large ones that they're listing here. So again, this is confusing. It should go to a landing page. You know, think of this as like a hiring system for applying for a job on a company. Go to those systems. They'll have all different ways to find the jobs that are available and list it. And that's exact same process as they should have available here, but they do not have it. I'm sorry, but the people in the governor's office need to revamp this. And if this is the way the system worked under Governor Scott's office, then they just weren't very intuitive or transparent, or they were just trying to appoint insiders. Now, we already do know, I've had it confirmed from 2 different inside sources, that the positions for St. Johns River Water Management District always went to people that were high contributors to the governor's campaign. And apparently that's historical. So that it would have gone back to previous governors too. And so that's why these appointments may go to somebody. It could go to somebody that's accounting for Big Sugar because they want to be sure to be on here to control something related to the river, and they don't give a damn about Lake County. And then the governor appoints them based upon their contributions. My reading, though, is that Governor DeSantis wants people that are problem solvers to be on these, because he's fired out quite a few people in the water management districts. So here we go. We got all these openings. I guess you could apply for all of them. I would apply for the 4 members at large. The other 2, the other 4 positions, you'd have to look up on the main website for the St. Johns River Water Management District to find out, get a map of their districts and see which one you're in, assuming you're in Lake County, because that's who we're encouraging to apply for these, and you fill those out. So it says add seats to application. So apparently only at this point, when you get down to this level and you check those boxes over there, then that adds to your list so that you're applying, you can apply for multiple seats on the same application form, I presume. Okay, so down here is where it would show those. So I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna apply for these, but because as a blog writer, I've written a lot of controversial subjects. And there are certain people in the political community that would probably really challenge me if I applied. So I'm kind of removing myself from it. But otherwise, I would. But I got stuff out there that about conservative political issues that there are people that would raise hell about it. So and we don't want to embarrass the governor. Let's see. And a good example of that is we did have somebody that he pointed to the elections to to run the elections for the state. And then opposition people in the liberal parties went out and tracked down pictures of some things that he did in his college yearbook or high school yearbook and made a big fuss about it, and the guy resigned. I don't think he should have resigned because of that. It was like 15 plus years ago, and I think the governor should have stood up for it and said, no, we're not going to let a little thing like this when you were in like high school or college ruin this. And the liberals do that crap. And this is another reason we need good conservatives to run for this, to stop this stuff. And we need to stand up for people, because there's always something in your background that's going to be questionable. All right, so we see I've checked those two. I'll just pick this one because I'm not sure which district. So now I got 3. I'm going to see add seats to application. So it did. It put them down here. So now let's go back here and let's pick a different category. We're going to let's pick elected official. Select one. Let's see. Oh, look at that. So look, school board. They got school board members in several counties that are not filled. They got Indian River County Hospital District. Oh, Lake County Water Authority. There we go. That's because they got one position that's vacant. It's always been vacant because the governor has not acted. Governor Scott did not act to fill those. Or maybe the applicants weren't very good. Okay, so now we're down at Lake County Water Authority. It shows 1. It's 1, maybe District 1. So let's go. I didn't know there was still an opening. Add that. So let's see if it. So it added that to the list. So we got that. So you look at that. You can apply for 4 different ones. So that's what you have to go through. My recommendation is, rather than filling out all these forms, is first of all go through to this form, check that box up at the top that I showed you up here. It says I have attached my application form and I'm ready to continue. If they don't tell you until you click this, you can't see the boards. that's called professional web design. Okay, and I used to develop internal corporate web designs using an industrial application called Lotus Notes, which is now owned by IBM. So I know about user interfaces too. So now we can go and we look at, we check that, remember to check that, and then you can pull these up, the functional categories. It'll just say select one when you look at that. This one say, so both those will say select one, and I'm just repeating what I've shown you before, and then you click on that and you pull up and you cycle through that. Maybe you want to be a sheriff. Let's see what the law enforcement is. And nope, there's no sheriffs there. There's a bunch of different councils. Now my view is, I don't know whether these are all expected to be volunteer. It doesn't say how many days. You would think that you'd have something that would tell you the requirements, the responsibilities, but nothing. You would have to then go search separately for this. They should have the link for it right there. It goes to a landing page on that organization's website that tells you more about this. It tells you what the responsibilities are. It tells you if there's any pay involved. If it's $25 or $2,000 a month, I don't know. And again, this is then all insider information. There may be some of these commissioners, like Medical Examiners Commission. Let's look at that. Okay. Well, if we click on it, all we see is it just pulls it up. And it says, licensed physicians who are active medical examiners. And then another one says a state attorney. Now, are those paid positions? Are those, they require a lot of travel? This is such an obtuse system. It's no wonder they always have a lot of vacancies. And I mean, like Lake County Water Authority. there are times when they could not get a quorum. They had seven, I think it's 7 board openings. They got 2 of them that were empty and 1 that nobody would apply for. It was in South County, Lake County. And now they have, I think, 6 out of the 7 positions filled. So there we go. There's what you apply for. So that is the process that you go through to do that. Now let's look at if I'll go back to the main page. Here's the main page, the main appointments page again, and you can click on the facts, which are right there, helpful hints and facts. So let's go to that. I'm sorry, I wanted to go to this to show you. It does show you recent appointments, and those are all press releases. So Governor DeSantis is appointing people, though. Look, he's appointed 5 people to Miami-Dade College. Now, by the way, Lake Sumter State College has 8 positions, but I guess all of them are filled because they don't show up in that list of open positions. I was there just this week, and I believe all of them are filled. At least 7 of them were there. Oh no, 8. 8 were there. The chairman is one of them, so all 8 people were there. And I've gone to 3 of their meetings, and those people do show up. By the way, one of the things that's interesting is that one of the application questionnaire, I think it asks, have you ever been appointed to a position? And then another question is, have you ever missed any meetings? Now, I bring that up because that's another thing that's important is if you agree to do this, you need to show up for the meetings. For instance, we have a member of the Lake County School District on the board that has missed probably 7 to 10 meetings because she has a real job and has conflicts and does not show up at some meetings. She'll call in, but she does not show up. And I know I've been to at least, I'd say 7 meetings where she's not been there. And that includes workshops. So they have a workshop maybe once a month or twice a month, and then they have a meeting every 2 weeks or twice a month. That's their main decision meeting. And if they don't show up, I've seen at least twice where they have postponed items because she was not there or one of the board members was not there because they thought it was important and everybody should vote. Okay, so anyway, this is the page that shows appointments made. And now we're going to go to the next, is that on the main page it said you could see the applications for the commission, the Constitutional Commission. And there's, I don't know, there might be 100. They're in alphabetic order. And if you look at them, let's just scroll down. I saw a couple that were big names in government before. And they're on here, and both of them had their home address and everything visible because they're no longer an elected official. Well, let's look at this guy. I'm just picking it out of the blue. His name is Christopher Meyer. And I have to download his form. It doesn't have a preview we can show you, so I download the form. I'm not going to do that. There are others that they open up and they... so let's try Christy Davis. There we go. So, and then what I do is I can expand it. This is using Google Chrome. And let's see, this one, yeah, has a lot of stuff blocked. The email is available, but social security number is hidden, the date of birth, driver's license number, and a mobile phone. What they do is they quote the state law that allows certain people to do that, and so this is the form, that questionnaire form, or no, the online application form. Sorry, but they should be combined. I don't know why they aren't. But if we scroll down to here, okay, there it is. Must be downloaded. Oh, look at that. List all the places of residence, and they've all been excluded. So this person, whoever it is, moved around a lot, like month to month. That's really interesting. Okay. And former and current residences. Okay. Apparently worked in education. Hillsborough High School. No, that's the high school she was at. She was at 2 colleges. Okay, she's an attorney and is a professor at Full Sail University and so forth. So she's an attorney, and so anyway, that's the form. I'm not going to go through any more on that. Let's see, this is, yeah, that's just the appointments questionnaire. So we'll go back. There's the main form, main page again, like I say, and it's there it is. So now you can see what you go through to apply for appointments. I personally am going to start lobbying, and the governor should make this much more accessible, both for transparency purposes, but also just to make it a lot easier for a potential applicant to see what the requirements are. I mean, they don't even have the link on their list of the boards. They don't have a link to that board, so you can go right to it. It's like they don't want anybody to apply. This really needs to be revamped entirely. Governor DeSantis, this is my recommendation to you. You look at this video, hopefully you did, and or your staff, and they are embarrassed by the lack of transparency, the lack of ease of information on this process, and that they fix it. They look at some systems that are out there for getting recruiting employees for corporations, and let's say corporations, not government, because government is just, I think you got to have a much shorter application personally, and so that then they can sort out, say, the top 3, and then they send it back, and then they give them the longer application form, and not make them go through that entire, all that stuff, the duplicate entries on the questionnaire and then the application and everything else to find out what the information, whether they want to go to it. You want to make it easy to apply, to get in the hopper, and to get better information, and to attract good candidates. You don't want to hit them with so much bureaucratic crap that they don't even want to go through it. And after what I've shown people here, you got to work hard. It's got to be important. And so what happens is you have lobbyists, you have lawyers, and you got people who want to make connections, and you got people that are interested in maybe lobbying for, say, agriculture or something like that. They're the ones that know about this. They are paid to fill out these application forms and apply. We need qualified citizens that are intelligent in everything from water to judicial and everything else to apply for this. And with that, it's a wrap.